Okay, so what we're doing here today is we're just going to demonstrate on how to prep a door for, it's our prime style and rail door. This will also come into play with our primed hardboard door. There's a lot of misconception on the door itself because the doors come pre-wrapped. You know, this is how we buy the door, and we machine the door through the wrap. The wrap is there to protect the door from warehouse dust, shipping things that happen, you know, delivery personnel carrying the door through weather conditions and so on. So the door still needs to have a preparation, which a lot of the doors have the instructions on them. But we're going to go through the process here. It's a very simple process, and it's a process that has to happen, you know, pretty much with any piece of wood or anything that you're going to finish, you know, to get a premium finish on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut this wrapper back and peel this back to expose the panel. So the first thing that has to happen is a light sanding needs to happen to the door. You can do this with 180 to 120 grit sandpaper. We also suggest that you find a, you know, we're not gonna give a recommendation of a paint manufacturer. However, we do recommend that you go with a high-end paint, whether it be Sherwin-Williams Pro Classic, Benjamin Moore, Pratt & Lambert, one of the higher end products that those particular folks carry. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take a 180 grit paper, and I'm just going to kind of wipe this door. Nothing real crazy. All I'm doing here is just breaking up the primer, raising it so that it has a surface to stick to. You can see I'm still bringing up some primer off of it. You don't want to get to the point that you're going through the primer, but you certainly want to rough it up. I'm just going to do this top panel here. I have very light pressure on here, similar to like how you would wipe your tabletop off at home, something like that. Maybe a bartender wiping a bar top off, but nothing more than that. I'd say that face there is sufficient. So what I'm going to do is take a perfectly dry towel, and I'm going to get rid of the dust here. And this is the bulk of the dust. The second towel I have here with me is just, it's the same type of towel. It's just lightly damped. It's very lightly damped, just to wipe down, to get any of the excess sandpaper residue off. Now naturally you do this to the entire door, both sides and the edges, and it would be ready for paint. Once this dries, I'll put a little bit of paint on here to show you how it sticks. Now for you painters that are actually spraying the doors, you still need to prep them, but spraying the door actually has a better result at the end. You know, you don't have brush strokes or roller strokes, anything like that, but you know, there are still some folks that prefer to brush or roll, so that's what we'll do here today. Okay, so again, with a nice quality brush and a nice quality paint, you can see this paint is just going on here, you know, just as you would think it would. Actually has pretty good coverage for a first coat. Sticking to all the sticking nicely. By no means, guys, am I a professional painter. You know, I'm a sales manager by trade, but you know, you can see for someone that's not a professional painter, with the proper prep, the door paints out pretty nice. Just a couple seconds of that sanding and doing what you need to do makes all the difference in the world in the adhesion of the paint. I intentionally picked a darker color so you could see exactly what it was doing here. There's a real nice coverage. I think most of the questions that we get calls about is that the paint kind of is rolling off of the door and not wanting to stick to it. And obviously the prep is where it's all at. So again, for a brush finish and not sprayed, it's covering nicely, adhering nicely. And not rolling off. So that's pretty much the process. I will be having my sales team talk to you guys about where the video resides on our website underneath the resource tab. And you guys as building supply specialists and selling to, somehow this little bit of information needs to get back to the painters, obviously, on the job sites. You can see for a non-professional guy, it has a pretty good stick to it. Really good coverage. If I would do the rest of this door, which I don't want to peel it back now, but you would get no adhesion at all. It would roll off as the questions come about. Thanks for your time, and hopefully this helps.